Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and Shine, it's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Topic number 339 today, we are talking about more about educating our employees about cybersecurity. It's it's an intense topic for me. I could summarize it down to educate your employees, guys. But it's probably important, again, just to dig into why it's important and some of the things that happen and some of the things you can be doing. Employees are the first line of defense. Employees are the ones that will set their passwords, reset their passwords, use sensible passwords, not easy to guess passwords. They're the ones that people will read emails and click on links or open documents or answer the phone and give out information on things or look at a text message and hit a link and go and give out personal information or information that can be used to compromise systems. They are also the ones that will quite unwittingly put out information on the internet that will allow people to build up enough of a profile to start to work out some of their hints, some of the ways they set their passwords, some of the things that make it easy to get in and compromise their accounts. So employees really are your first line of defense. The wet factor, the human factor is really, really important in making sure your cybersecurity systems are going to work. It doesn't matter how good your technology is, it doesn't matter how good your policies are, if your staff, your employees, your team members are not following any of those, nothing is going to work. So that's why they're important, and that's why educating them is important. Okay, so I've spoke about some of the mistakes that they make already. They click on links in emails, they answer phones and give out information about and I've said that a couple of times. I actually haven't dug down into what sorts of things they can do. The best phishing scheme I have ever seen was an organization, and this is actually a demonstration we gave to a customer in another life about how easy it is to compromise the system. Someone rang the receptionist and said, "Oh, hi, it's so-and-so from such and such company here. We're sending out some information about a new product. We were wondering if we could get the email address for your boss, please." And the receptionist says, "Yeah, sure, no worries. Here's his email address." And gave out the email address. And it was a receptionist, and it was a boss. That gives you an idea how long ago it was. And she gave it out. That was the only piece of information she gave out, was his email address. We showed how we could use that email address to get into a system. I mean, I must admit, I had a really good hacker working with us to give us this demonstration, but we got into the system because it was his email address. We knew that it was likely that it had a high level of authority and a high level of trust associated with it. We managed to get into one system, and from that one system, we managed to cascade back into the system until we got access to some pretty core systems by getting an email address. It sounds silly, right? What would her answer have better been? "Hey, look, no worries. Why don't you send that to me and I will forward that on to him? Or here is a generic email that we use for that sort of information and we'll make sure it gets through." That's how you would have handled that. That's how you should be handling it, particularly this day and age. You'll notice I said that email address probably had a high level of trust associated with it. He was the boss. It's likely that he had access to systems that the rest of the employees didn't, or most of the employees didn't. Payroll, employee database, payment systems, all of those things tied to the email address. So there's one mistake that could have cost that business a lot of money. I've spoken about handling phishing links. I've spoken about the fact that we haven't yet. In yesterday's episode, I spoke to the fact about that we don't update the apps on our phone. We don't update our computers. We set really weak passwords. They're the things that your employees can do that really impact on you as a business owner, or on your business, or may impact on you as a business owner or on your business. It's important that you give these examples to people. One of the things that I have found works really well is have examples of phishing emails. Have examples of the really, really good ones. I'm recording this on the 10th of December, and right now there are scam emails or phishing emails or whatever you want to call them going around with the My ID logo and replicating that My ID email that's going out. The government has just changed their My Gov ID to My ID, and they want to tell us all about it. So they've sent out these emails telling us about it, and it's beautiful. We're starting to get emails from scammers replicating those emails. They look perfect. They look like they look legit. Honestly, it's easy to do that. Saying, oh, you need to update your account. Click on this link to update your My ID account. Yeah, that's a scam. We don't have to do that. The government wouldn't be asking us to do that. What they'd be saying is, what you need to log into your My ID account, you know where to find it, go find it, go and log into it. They don't put a link in their email, but the scammers do. But if you're not thinking about it and you see something come through from the government that says you need to update your ID, or we're going to cut you off of your benefits, or you're not going to be able to access your tax, or the banks are going to cut you off, you're going to panic, and you're going to click on the link to get in, and oh, you've just given out your information, and they can get into your real ID account and attack that. That's why training your employees is really important. And that's why that story that I just gave you, have an example of the email, have the flow of how easy this is to go through available to show them. It has such an impact when you do that. How do we get around it though? I mean, I've just said, have stories available, have examples available. Make sure that you're training, make sure that the information that you're giving them is consistent, is engaging, and is relatable. Now, you'll notice that what I did in that story I gave you is, if you are getting a message saying you're going to get cut off from your banking, or you're going to get cut off from your tax return, you're not going to get your tax return unless you do this thing, or we're going to send the police after you unless you update your tax information, that automatically sets something emotional happening inside of you. You panic. And if you don't panic, it still gets it still raises that level of, oh, I've got to do something. And your instant reaction is to do it immediately. If you can use those sorts of examples when you're doing your training, if you can make it into a game, even like a snakes and ladders game. If you get caught by the scammer, you've got to go all the way back to beginning. If you get all the way through without getting caught by the traps, then you're the winner. Quizzes is great. I mentioned in one of the other videos I've just done that someone actually plays out the scenario of sending out phishing emails and see who's responds to them, and then knows who they've got to go and talk to. They might make a bit of a joke about, well, these are the people that got caught today. So that's negative reinforcement, but sometimes it's needed. Sometimes you need to do that. I'm not saying you should do it all the time. That could be very detrimental, but they do those sorts of things. A little bit of role play, oh, hi, it's so-and-so. And then when they go, well, this is it, you say, hey, this is really so-and-so, and you really shouldn't have done that. It's a little bit, make it engaging, make it relatable, make it something that they can actually apply to what they're doing today. It's no use saying, change your passwords, it'll get hacked. Yeah, sure, whatever. But if you can show an example of how easy it is to hack that password or to guess that password, and then what happens if that password gets guessed, well, that's just on that system. Well, is it? Let me just do a scan of your email address and see what systems that your email is associated with just on the internet. Just do a Google search for your email address and see if it comes up with anything. Or let me go to, I don't know, let me go to ato.gov.au and put your email address in, or google.com, and try and log in and put your email address in and say, I've forgotten my password, and see what happens. Because that's how they do it. They just try systems. They've got, yeah, I'm not going to rant on it. It's just so easy to happen. But make that training relatable. If you can, make it fun by making it into a game. If you can do quizzes, maybe even have, I don't know, an office trivia day. And what's the trivia around the security of this? What can you do to do it? And recognize people for understanding not only the company's policies and the company's implementation on how to do things, but how it does affect not only themselves, but their fellow workmates. What do you guys think? How do you think you could do this with your teammates, with your team, with your workmates, even with people that you don't necessarily work directly with? How can you make this all fun and make it so that people understand the implications of cybersecurity and their impact in making your business that much more secure? I'd love to know. Leave some comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video. If you can remember to like the video, I would love that. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. Come across and join me on my locals channel, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. I would love to have a conversation with you there. In the meantime, guys, stay safe online, in your life. Have a great day. And tomorrow we are going to talk about, well, I think we're going to talk about securing our Wi-Fi networks. Bye, guys. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.